Do you dread the moment that door closes, the click of the lock echoing in a silent home? Does the idea of an empty house, a weekend with no calls, no texts, no plans, fill you with a quiet, creeping sense of panic, not peace? You might tell yourself it's just loneliness, that you're an extrovert, that you just like having people around. But what if it's more? What if that feeling in your chest isn't just a preference, but a genuine primal fear? This is not just loneliness. This is a recognized clinical phobia. It's called autophobia, or sometimes monophobia. And it is one of the most misunderstood, yet profound, psychological fears a person can experience. The core question is why? Why do some people cherish solitude, seeing it as a chance to recharge, while for others, solitude feels like a threat? Why does being alone feel, to some, like a direct confrontation with disaster? In this video, we are not just going to define a word, we are going to dissect the very psychology of this fear. We will trace its roots back to their deepest, most vulnerable origins in our past. And, most importantly, we will walk the proven, science-backed path to healing, the path to reclaiming your peace and learning, perhaps for the first time, how to be your own best company. To understand what autophobia is, we must first be crystal clear on what it is not. And what it is not is simple loneliness. Loneliness is a universal human emotion. It's an internal alarm, a painful, aching signal that our fundamental need for social connection isn't being met. You can be painfully lonely in a crowded room, at a loud party, or even in a marriage. Loneliness is about the quality and depth of your connection to others. It's a social pain. Autophobia is something else entirely. Autophobia is a specific anxiety disorder. It's a phobia. Like arachnophobia, the fear of spiders, or acrophobia, the fear of heights, autophobia is an intense, irrational, and overwhelming fear of oneself. Let me clarify that, because it's a crucial distinction. The fear isn't just about the state of being alone. For a person with autophobia, the terror lies in what they believe will happen while they are alone. Their internal monologue isn't just, "I wish someone was here." It is, "What if I have a heart attack and no one is here to call for help? What if someone breaks into the house? What if I have a panic attack so severe that I lose my mind and no one is here to ground me?" Or, perhaps the most terrifying thought of all, what if I am left alone with nothing but my own thoughts and I can't survive them? This is the divide. Loneliness is a pain that yearns for connection. Autophobia is a panic that fears disaster. When someone with severe autophobia is left alone, they don't just feel sad. They can experience the full, terrifying spectrum of a clinical anxiety response. Their heart pounds in their chest, a drumbeat of danger, danger, danger. Their chest tightens, making it hard to breathe. They might feel dizzy, lightheaded, a sense of derealization, as if the world around them isn't real. Their body is screaming, in no uncertain terms, that their very survival is at stake. This is why simply telling someone with autophobia but being alone is so peaceful is like telling someone with a severe peanut allergy, but peanut butter is so delicious. It completely misses the point. Their brain has learned to equate alone with unsafe. Our job is to find out why. Because of the intense stigma around seeming needy or clingy, people with autophobia become masters of disguise. They develop sophisticated, often subconscious, coping mechanisms to ensure they are never, ever truly alone. These behaviors are often the biggest clues that something deeper is at play. First is the noise filler. This is the person who cannot tolerate silence. The moment they walk into their home, the TV goes on, not to be watched, but to be heard. They listen to podcasts while they shower, music while they work, an audiobook as they fall asleep. The constant stream of external sound serves a critical function. It drowns out the internal monologue. The silence is a vacuum, and in that vacuum, their anxious thoughts begin to echo. The noise is a shield, a buffer, a constant, comforting presence that keeps their own mind at bay. Second, we have the serial monogamist. This individual bounces from one long-term relationship to the next, with almost no downtime in between. Their friends might see them as romantic or lucky in love, but the reality is a frantic avoidance. The gap between relationships, that period of being single, of coming home to an empty bed, is not a time for self-discovery. It is a time of acute panic. The presence of a partner, any partner, functions as a human shield against their phobia. And this leads to a devastating third behavior, staying in toxic relationships. This is one of the most heartbreaking consequences of autophobia. The fear of being alone becomes so overwhelming that it feels worse than the pain of being in a bad relationship. They will tolerate disrespect, emotional abuse, or profound incompatibility because in their mind, an abusive partner is still a present partner. A terrible, dysfunctional relationship is a small price to pay to avoid the perceived catastrophe of being alone. The "what if I'm alone" is always scarier than the "what is happening to me right now." Fourth is the overscheduler. Take a look at their calendar. It is a fortress built of social obligations. Every evening is booked: happy hour on Monday, book club on Tuesday, trivia on Wednesday, dinner with friends on Thursday. Weekends are a marathon of brunches, parties, and family gatherings. This isn't the behavior of a joyful extrovert. This is the frantic planning of a person terrified of empty space. They are not running towards social connection. They are fleeing from solitude. The exhaustion of a packed schedule is preferable to the anxiety of a free evening. Finally, there is the workaholic distraction. This is perhaps the most socially acceptable mask for autophobia. This person volunteers for every extra project, stays late every night, and works all weekend. They are praised for being dedicated and ambitious. But the motivation is not purely professional. Work provides a structured, demanding, and constantly engaging environment. It is a place where they are always needed, always connected, even if just by email, and never left alone with their own unstructured thoughts. It is the perfect, productive hiding place. These behaviors are not choices. They are symptoms. They are the desperate, brilliant strategies of a mind trying to protect itself from a fear it cannot name. We are about to dive into the roots of this fear, the why behind these behaviors. If you're finding this exploration of psychology helpful, and you want to continue understanding yourself and the world around you on a deeper level, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue to create these in-depth guides, and you won't miss what's coming next. Now, let's look at where this terror truly begins. A fear this profound doesn't materialize from nothing. It is not a flaw in personality. It is a learned response, forged in the fires of past experience. The roots of autophobia almost always lie in two areas: our earliest attachments and later life trauma. Root 1. Childhood and attachment theory. To understand this, we have to look at the work of psychologist John Bowlby and his groundbreaking attachment theory. Bowlby proposed that as infants, we are biologically hardwired to form a deep attachment to our primary caregivers. This attachment is a survival mechanism. We develop an attachment style based on how our caregivers respond to our needs. If a caregiver is consistently available, responsive, and loving, the child develops a secure attachment. They learn a fundamental, life-changing lesson. I am safe. My needs will be met. The world is a reliable place. I can go out and explore because I have a secure base to return to. These individuals grow up comfortable with both connection and solitude. But what if the caregiver is inconsistent? Sometimes they are loving and present, but other times they are distant, overwhelmed, or absent. The child develops an anxious attachment. They live in a state of uncertainty. They learn that connection is fragile and can disappear at any moment. They become hypervigilant, constantly scanning their environment for signs of abandonment. For this child, being left alone is terrifying. It isn't peaceful, it confirms their deepest fear. I have been forgotten, I am not safe. This childhood blueprint is carried directly into adulthood. The adult with an anxious attachment style doesn't outgrow this fear. The world still feels uncertain, and being alone still feels like abandonment. Then there are more direct childhood experiences. A child who experienced a significant loss, the sudden divorce of parents, a parent with a chronic illness, or even just parents who were physically present but emotionally absent, a concept known as childhood emotional neglect. That child learns a different, harsher lesson. Ultimately, I am on my own, and I cannot handle it. Route 2. Traumatic experiences. The second route is trauma. The brain is a powerful association machine. All it takes is one significant, terrifying event while alone to create a permanent phobic link. Perhaps a person experienced their first ever full-blown panic attack while home alone. The brain forges an instant, ironclad connection. Alone equals panic. The fear is no longer of the panic attack itself, but of the trigger, the solitude. Or consider a person who was home alone during a break-in, a medical emergency like a fall or a natural disaster. Their brain, in a desperate attempt to protect them from future harm, creates a simple, powerful rule. Being alone is life-threatening. Never let it happen again. This is not irrational. This is a survival mechanism gone into overdrive. Route 3. Related conditions. Finally, autophobia rarely travels alone. It is often a powerful symptom of other, broader psychological conditions. It is frequently seen in borderline personality disorder, BPD, where a core feature is a frantic, desperate fear of abandonment. The aloneness feels like an emotional amputation, a complete loss of self. It is also a hallmark of dependent personality disorder, DPD, where an individual feels an excessive need to be taken care of, leading to submissive and clinging behaviors and a deep-seated fear of being unable to function without the help of others. And, as mentioned, it is deeply intertwined with panic disorder. The person doesn't fear being alone, they fear having a panic attack while alone, creating a vicious cycle where the fear of the fear is what keeps them trapped. Understanding these roots is not about blaming the past, it is about liberation. It's about looking at this fear, this seemingly irrational terror, and finally being able to say, with compassion, "You make sense. You are a scar from a wound I didn't know how to heal. And now, I can learn." Bud. This is the most important part of our journey. Autophobia, no matter how deep its roots or how long it has dominated your life, is not a life sentence. It is a treatable anxiety disorder. Healing is not only possible, it is achievable. The path to peace involves a multi-layered approach, moving from professional intervention to a deep personal rebuilding of your relationship with yourself. Strategy 1. Professional evidence-based help. This is the gold standard. The most effective treatment for any phobia is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT operates on a simple premise. Our feelings are not dictated by events, but by our thoughts about those events. A therapist helps you identify your automatic negative thoughts. These are the thoughts that flash in your mind the moment you're alone. I can't handle this. A disaster is inevitable. This silence is deafening. Once identified, you learn to challenge them. You become a detective, looking for evidence. I've been alone before. Did a disaster actually happen? I felt anxious, yes, but did I lose my mind? No. You actively replace the catastrophic thought with a more realistic, balanced one. Being alone feels uncomfortable, but I am not in danger. This is an emotion. It will pass. In conjunction with CBT, a therapist might use exposure therapy. This is the single most effective way to diffuse a phobia. It is gentle, gradual, and empowering. You do not just get thrown into the deep end. You create a fear ladder. Step 1 might be simply staying in your car in the driveway, alone, for 5 minutes. Step 2, being in your house alone for 10 minutes, while your partner just goes for a walk around the block. Step 3, staying alone for a full hour. Step 4, an entire evening. With each successful step, you are providing your brain with new, powerful evidence. You are teaching your amygdala, the brain's fear center, a new lesson. See, the door closed. The house was quiet, and we were safe. You are systematically rewiring that old faulty alarm system. Strategy 2. Reparenting yourself. This is the deeper, more emotional work. If your fear stems from an anxious attachment, from a childhood where you learned you weren't safe on your own, the solution is to become the safe, consistent parent you always needed. This is called reparenting. It means learning to self-soothe. When that wave of panic rises, you stop, place a hand on your chest, and talk to yourself with the kindness you would offer a terrified child. I know this is scary. I'm right here. I'm not going to leave you. We are safe. Just breathe. It means building a life you want to be present for. It means building self-esteem outside of your relationships. Who are you without anyone else? What do you believe? What do you value? When you build a strong, stable sense of I am, you are no longer a ship tossed on the waves of others' presence or absence. You are the anchor. Strategy 3. The power of intentional solitude. This is the reframe. You must change the narrative. For your entire life, alone has been a punishment, a threat, a failure. The goal is to turn it into a choice. This is the profound difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is imposed. Solitude is chosen. Start small. Create a solitude ritual. Make a cup of your favorite tea. Put on music you love, not just noise. Buy that book you've been meaning to read. Go for a walk in nature, by yourself. These aren't just distractions. These are acts of dating yourself. You are intentionally creating positive experiences with the one person you've been avoiding. You are teaching your brain a third, even more powerful lesson. Alone doesn't just mean safe. Alone can actually mean peaceful. It can mean recharging. It can mean joy. Strategy 4. Mindfulness and grounding. These are your in-the-moment emergency tools. When the panic does hit, and it will, you need a practical plan. This is where grounding techniques are a lifesaver. The panic is in your head, in the future. What if? But grounding pulls you back into your body, into the present moment where you are safe. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. 5. Name 5 things you can see. The lamp, the crack in the ceiling, your fingernail, the blue carpet. 4. Name 4 things you can feel. The fabric of your shirt, the floor under your feet, the cool air on your skin, the tension in your shoulders. 3. Name 3 things you can hear. The hum of the fridge, a car outside, your own breathing. 2. Name 2 things you can smell. The faint scent of coffee, the soap on your hands. 1. Name 1 thing you can taste. The remnants of toothpaste. This is not magic. it is neuroscience. It forces your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, to engage, which in turn sends a calm down signal to your panicked amygdala. Healing from autophobia is a journey. It is the journey from a life ruled by "what if they leave" to a life grounded in "I am here." It's the process of unlearning a lifetime of false beliefs that told you your safety and value were held in the hands of others. The ultimate goal is not just to tolerate being alone. The goal is to build a relationship with yourself that is so strong, so compassionate, and so interesting that you actually enjoy your own company. Healing is possible. It begins not with changing who you are, but with understanding, finally, why you are. And with that understanding comes the power to change everything. We all have a different relationship with solitude. What part of this explanation resonated with you the most? Do you have your own strategies for finding peace in being alone? Share your story and your thoughts in the comments section below. Your insights might be exactly what someone else needs to read today.